Welcome back to the Way of Healing.
Hey.
It has only been a week for y'all, but it's been longer than that for OJ and I since we sat down together because I was away in, wait for it, Cyprus.
Yay, lucky her.
The island. And it was phenomenal.
And we actually pre-recorded a few episodes, so
everybody does. All the cool kids do.
This is our first time sitting down in about a month.
Has it been that long?
Just about.
Wow, groovy.
Yeah.
Well, it feels really good. It feels good to be back. The space is continuing to grow, OJ's space. He just worked on me for a few minutes on the table doing the zone healing that he's doing.
Oh, it's great. We're going to do an interview soon.
Yeah, I was like, do you want to talk more about that?
Not today.
So we're back here with the Way of Healing. This is the
tapestry we've been talking about.
This is the tapestry that OJ drools over.
Yeah.
I picked a mug that I thought went with the tapestry because, we have to be matchy to some degree.
She also picked apple pie.
So the apple pie, I don't think they can see it, but next door to Next Level Holistic Healing is Unurban Coffee House.
It's warm.
And we were walking down the alley to get to the entrance to Next Level. And the smell from the kitchen was like, it overtook me. And I said, OJ, we have to go get a piece of whatever that pie is.
You gotta try that. It's crunchy.
She's like, it's still warm. I was like, okay, well, we're going to take it next door and we're going to eat it while we record. I'm drinking tea also.
Podcast? What? I told her we were recording a podcast.
I did.
And that her apple pie would be featured on the podcast. So
and I said, yeah, sorry, I keep hitting that thing. I'm sorry, audience. I'm a little discombobulated. Why?
What she said. Why?
What? What did she say?
She kept hitting that thing. My wife and I are rewatching The Office. We're on like season 6.
And it's giving him a dirty mind. Normally he's so G. Today he's like,
Arr.
Case in point. Where should we start?
I wanted to talk about grounding on the episode. I think before we get into it.
Apple pie.
It's great, right?
Shoot.
Jeez.
Butter. Cinnamon. Sorry, vegans.
Since we talked about the space a little bit, space is coming along. I'll keep you guys updated on when the space actually opens up, but it's coming along beautifully. We're still decorating a little bit. And once it's up and running, it's going to be amazing. We'll do a few interviews with Joe again, who is
the founder.
Yeah. And we have a couple cool healers also in the vicinity, and it's gonna be great. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. You guys can come get some apple pie, get your healing on, and it'll be cool. Oh, did you see the thing I posted on the Instagram? I guess it's gonna tell the audience when we recorded. You remember the collective consciousness thing we talked about the 4-minute mile? So a guy for the first time ever ran a full marathon in under 2 hours.
Oh, I did see that. Where was he from?
Kenya.
Isn't every good runner from Kenya?
But talking about the 4-minute mile, if you guys don't know what we're referencing to, on our last episode where we talked about collective consciousness, people thought it was impossible to run a 4-minute mile until someone was like, I'm going to run a 4-minute mile.
It was the last episode in my living room. So it wasn't
was it?
In here. It was in the living room.
You're right. She's right. Just look up collective consciousness and you'll find it. I don't remember which episode number it was. So this guy was like, I'm going to run a mile in under 4 minutes. And he ran it. And it was the first time ever anyone has done it. And soon after, when people were like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And then they all started running 4-minute miles. And now this guy ran 26 miles in under 2 hours.
Under 120 minutes.
And so plugging that into the collective consciousness, I guarantee you there's going to be more people in the near future that run marathons in under two hours.
He guarantees.
Guarantees.
You'll get a piece of apple pie from next door, should he be wrong.
If I'm wrong, you get nothing.
It's kind of a weak guarantee. Whatever. I'm just sitting here enjoying this pie.
It'll happen soon.
This is the perfect combination of salty and sweet.
It's great pie. I wonder if we should call this episode the pie episode.
Grounding.
Tell us about Cyprus, Kasey.
You want me to tell you about Cyprus and how it relates to grounding?
Yeah.
I can tell you a lot of things about Cyprus.
Please do.
First of all,
she just got back and we haven't talked. So
it's like 11 hours ahead of whatever it is here. Sleep has been interesting. I'd like to first thank Ozzy of the Wellness of Oz. She is founder of the yoga studio in Burbank. We'll get her on the podcast.
Cool.
And she was the lead hostess of the retreat. So she is British, born and raised, but both her parents are of Cyprian descent. And so she speaks fluent Turkish. And they have family land on the island where she's building a retreat center.
Wow.
And she's all about like light workers unite.
Oh, what we're doing.
Yeah. Alignment. And she hosted a really beautiful retreat. Tracy Griffiths was leading the aroma yoga therapy, aroma yoga component of it. And I'm doing that certification with Tracy and Dawn Yurkovic of Topanga, California. And there was Tai Chi.
Smug look she gave me.
I know the smug
Casey's
look.
moving to Topanga.
I am. Topanga.
So we might do some cool recordings in the middle of a forest.
I'm going to have a house. Okay, that's all I can say. A house. Here, do you want this? For sound. So, yeah. Joe Love, he is a LA-based yoga teacher, and he also teaches Tai Chi Qigong. He's wonderful, and he was one of the leaders of the retreat. And let's see, Angela Dew, she did sound healing. She did a wonderful sound bath one night. We were on the beach with the Mediterranean sort of softly lapping the shore. And then Angela, who also brought her 7-month-old son, Axel, on the retreat, who was a perfect angel. I called him the youngest emperor of Turkey. He was a little angel baby. So the retreat was fantastic. Lots of yoga, fresh vegetarian meals every day. I came back and my clients were like, wow, you look really glowing and you're tan and you're skinny and I went, oh, well, it's amazing what 1 week of altering your habits will do.
You mean you don't look like that all the time?
I mean, I don't know. I don't feel as good as I felt on the retreat all the time. But one of the things that the retreat offers is a sort of concentration of healing. And so it's kind of next level. It's amplified in a way that allows you to see, oh, I can incorporate these things into my daily life so that I can maintain this elevated place, right? Of meditation, of yoga, of healthy eating, of being in nature. And all of those things were, that was part of our itinerary, our daily log of things. But because you do it 6 days in a row, you develop a little bit of a habit. So Tracy asked us, and how are you all going to integrate the things that you learned as you reorient into your life? And so that's been an interesting thing to think about. It's like, okay, healthier habits overall.
Cool.
So it doesn't take long, is what I'm saying, to adjust.
Yeah.
The human body is very quick to respond.
I think the part that you mentioned about how are you going to integrate it into your everyday life is huge, because we go to these retreats or these events and we learn cool things, but it's like, how are you going to make that a part of your life, right? I went to this Tai Chi retreat back in April, and it was similar. I mean, we would do Tai Chi for hours, 3 times a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. And it was all really fresh vegetarian food. They'd go to the markets every morning and pick up some fresh veggies and fruits and cook. And there was a lot of time for like reflection and just being with yourself. And, a lot of things that I was doing at the retreat, I didn't bring back home to me because no one asked me that question of how are you going to integrate it into your everyday life. So if any of you guys go to a retreat, I urge you to ask yourself that question throughout, just so you can have a better idea of how to bring that back to your everyday life and really make it a part of you.
Apple pie.
Apple pie. So on to the topic. Oh, you got more.
Yeah. Well, in part because life is...
a box of chocolate.
Thank you, Forrest. What's it called when something builds on something and it continues to build? It starts with a C.
Compounded.
Compounding, right?
Compounding.
Yeah, compounded. Composite, compounded. So what you learned yesterday, you're meant to bring into today. You're not meant to just forget about it. Like somebody asked me yesterday, oh, are you still in vacation mode? And my response was along the lines of, well, I'm working hard to integrate what I've learned into my life here now. And that's the thing. That's what retreats offer you. Again, it's this concentration of, it's like a distilled, it's everybody doing the same thing. So along the lines of grounding, it was kind of earth-shattering and grounding at the same time. Earth-shattering because so many of us were there going, wow, this life, living on the beach and swimming whenever we want to in shark-free waters and, again, super fresh meals and super mellow atmosphere and communing with like-minded folks. It's like, how do we bring this into the world? So no, I'm not in vacation mode. I'm thinking about, wow, I want to hold on to what I felt like in Cyprus and all of the beauty that I saw and share that in the world. I mean, we went to ancient ruins, 5,000-year-old ruins.
Wow.
Yeah, it was whoa. And it was beautiful. And it was beautiful to recognize the care with which people created then. I mean, I don't know anything that we've built in the last century that's going to last 5,000 years, right? We throw up sheetrock like it's a piece of chewing gum. And this was like stone, and it was carved stone, and it was just, the architecture was stunning. And so to be there in this old space, very, 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 very old space, and to see the care with which people went through their life and their day and it was just, it was a beautiful experience to imagine what life was like then.
Yeah, cool. And Kasey will be teaching
yeah,
next year at the same
next year,
retreat.
Cyprus 2020, I will be teaching.
Yeah.
So start saving your pennies or start asking your people for time off. It'll be the same time. It'll be the first week of October. And I'm super jived and super excited because it was just such a beautiful experience. I cried. I mean, I saw wild donkeys. I think I cry whenever I see donkeys. Yeah, there were really friendly donkeys at this one site that we went to. I'm forgetting the name, forgive me. But it was, there was holy water and wild donkeys and fresh crepes and super friendly people. The thing about other cultures, and I urge anyone who is curious about travel to please, 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 please travel, because the world is big and life is short and there's so much beauty when you get out of your bubble. One of the vendors that I was purchasing actually this bracelet from, which is an evil eye bracelet, he was like, my name is Ufuk. And he said, that means horizon, right? Where the water meets the air. And then you look out and you see the horizon because we were on the water's edge. So there's just so much meaning in things, and there's so much to be discovered. And it's it's beautiful to augment your reality. So continue to augment your reality in whatever way that you can, you know?
Yeah. Experience it to travel and then also experience the culture, right? Don't just stay in your hotel and do the tourist stuff. Like go
Yeah.
hang
Meet the
out.
locals.
Yeah.
They're far less scary than we might think here.
Mm-hmm.
I find Europeans are, because typically their countries are much smaller than America, they explore other countries readily. Like when I was in the Vienna airport, the guy who was working at the local cafe that I got a sandwich from, he is from Slovakia and he makes that commute twice a day, 5 days a week.
What?
Right? So different language, it's just different culture, different people. The world is beautiful. Don't be scared. That's my takeaway. That's my grounding.
Thanks for sharing.
And what that does in turn is that I come home and I'm more comfortable in my own skin in my own home. So it reverberates.
Yeah. Not outside your home because the air smells like fire.
Yeah, there's fires in LA right now.
There's fires in LA right now. It's pretty bad. Sending good vibes and prayers to everyone affected. It's intense out there.
I know, it's that time of year, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So the idea came from a client. She was like, well, what do you do to stay grounded? And for me, her and I are almost opposite in the way our energies are. She's very upper chakra, crown, third eye. Like she does a whole bunch of traveling and meditating where she can go places. And I'm the opposite. I'm very grounded on this earth in my physical body. And it takes me longer or takes more effort for me to tap into my upper chakras. Working on it. And so
like she travels without traveling, you're saying?
Yes.
She travels without leaving her home?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a thing. But one of the questions she asked me was, how do you stay grounded? And I've always been told by a lot of people, my clients, like, you're so grounded, your energy's so grounding. People I talk to, like, you're such a grounded person. And no one's really asked me how I stay grounded until she asked. And I was like, that's a good question. And so I really had to look at myself and it's like, what do I do to stay grounded? And granted, there's times where I'm not grounded. Granted, there's times where like I'm in my head and that monkey mind is going a million miles an hour and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But for the most part, on a day-to-day, I'm usually really grounded.
I would concur. I mean, you can hear that in your voice, right? I suddenly went, I hope we're recording.
I know.
I hope we are. And can you all hear the chanting upstairs? I don't know if you can. David's probably going to edit it out.
It's behind us.
What is it?
It's the...
What's next door?
An urban. It's a stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think it's an improv set.
Yeah, they throw a bunch of events next door.
We're hearing noises, even if you aren't. We're hearing them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's grounding me, but it somehow is. I know.
It's in your head.
So yeah, OJ, you're very grounded. So
thank you. So it's
because you're Filipino.
Maybe.
No,
No,
that's not true.
One of the things I do to stay grounded that works for me is to really pay attention to how I'm feeling in my body. So as I'm going about my day to day, I really try to feel myself being connected to earth, right? Every step, not every, but when I can, when I'm mindful of it, it's like, how are my feet hitting the floor, right? Where in space is my body? Where's my center of gravity? How are my hips feeling? How are my shoulders feeling? How's my neck feeling? How's my spine feeling? And really feeling in my body. And for me, that's huge. And I think for a lot of people, they're so disconnected with their bodies and they don't pay attention to those things. And that might be a big reason as to why you may not feel grounded.
Okay, so two things. Do you think that a big piece of that has to do with footwear, for example?
My personal opinion, yes. I feel like the more minimalist the footwear, the more connected you feel to the ground and to the earth. I feel like when you wear shoes that have really thick soles or curved soles.
Or spiky sticks that you're standing on,
Yeah.
right? 4-inch stilettos.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you're not grounded
You're not grounded.
because so much of grounding comes through the heels, right? To stimulate the vagus nerve, which helps with grounding. You bounce in your heels,
Yeah.
right?
Earthing is a thing.
Yeah, take your shoes off and stand in the dirt.
Yeah, they walk on dirt, grass. I don't really recommend cement too much, but if you can go to a park and walk with your bare feet, it helps you connect to Gaia, to Earth.
How do you think that people first become aware of the need to do that? Like, it's one thing to say, I connect with my body, but how do we make that initial transition from like, I'm always in my head, la-di-da-di-da, to, oh, I need to get into my body?
I think it's just a personal decision. I think to fully experience this life and what this life has to offer, you have to connect to your body. This is your vessel. This is your spacesuit. Did I talk about the spacesuit analogy on air?
No. But my dad calls me Space Case. So
there you go.
what's the spacesuit? I
So-
want one.
You have one. So if you were hypothetically in outer space and you had a spacesuit, you would take really good care of it because you knew that was your means of survival. You'd make sure there was no holes. You would hang it when you were done with it. You would constantly check to make sure everything is working properly because you know that if you don't and you go outside in space, you're going to die. Right? We're
Good point.
Yeah. And so with our bodies, it's very similar. Like we're somewhere in there, a soul, a spirit, whatever you want to call it. We're somewhere in there, right? This body isn't us. It's we're using it to experience this life and what this lifetime has to offer, but it's not us. The same way that our mind really isn't us, and how when you take a step back in your own head, you can hear the monkey mind chattering, like this person's talking, this person talking, everyone's just saying something and has an opinion about everything. But really we're the observer of those thoughts. And so that observer is also the one that is being, what's the word I'm looking for? Is the one that's occupying the space of these bodies. And so our bodies are used to help us experience life. And so
In 3D.
in 3D. And so with the same amount of care we would take care of a spacesuit with, we should be giving our bodies that same amount of care.
Here.
Because we potentially can live up to 100 years old plus. And the more we're in tune with our bodies, the more we take care of our bodies, the more we're able to listen to the subtleties of what our body's trying to tell us, the more likely it's going to happen that we're going to live longer, not even longer lives, but more fulfilled lives, right? You take care of your
Informed,
body, your body's going to take care of you, right? There's 90-year-olds lifting weights and doing stuff and doing jujitsu because they've taken care of their bodies.
There's 100-year-olds running marathons.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's 50-year-olds who can't get out of bed.
Yep.
And so, one of the Dr. Pete, the guy who I'm learning the zone therapy from, he's like, perfect health is normal. It's normal to be healthy. And for a lot of people, they think it's normal to have back pain. Oh, my back is just like that. That's normal. Or my digestion's off. That's just how I am, right? That's not normal. Healthy is normal, right? When there's something going on in your body, there's an imbalance. And you got to figure out how to tune into yourself to make that imbalance balanced. So that way you can continue to live normal, healthy lives.
Yeah. And your body it's not trying to tell you, it's telling you. But is your mind listening?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'll give an example. On the retreat, something very
interesting
happened. So I've been an athlete my whole life. I won the Tot Trot when I was 6 years old, which was the Tot Trot. What did I get? I got a gift certificate, like $15 gift certificate, maybe it was $25, to the local bakery. And I got
apple pie.
and I got apple pie. No, but they had cupcakes that had coffee icing. Oh my gosh. Even at 6 years
At
old, I
6?
loved that
Oh.
flavor. I loved that flavor. Okay, anyway, I've been an athlete, competitive athlete, and then I've been studying yoga for 20 years. Never have I dislocated anything. On this retreat, day 4, I was doing a yoga class. Didn't even think that it was a super intense one, and dislocated my left knee. Like it was like what is happening? Oh my goodness. My knee was like 3.5 inches outside of where my patella, outside of where it normally is. Haha, that's funny. That's the teacher who was teaching the yoga class when I dislocated my knee. Just texted. Hi, Joe Love. So that was very much an experience of, wow, body, what are you telling me? Right? I mean, I have a strong practice. That's what it looks like from the outside. That's typically how I feel. And this happened and it grounded me. Talk about grounding. It was like,
puts you right into
sit
your
your
body.
ass down and figure this shit out, right? You're not going anywhere. So I tried putting it back in. It didn't go in the first time. It went in maybe the second or third time. Tracy, my teacher, was like, I heard that. I was by the ocean, and I was really grateful immediately for the fact that for years now, I've been studying the body, because I was able to, without outside assistance, figure out what was the best course of action in that moment. So I walked to the shore and I tested sort of the range of motion and what directions was it comfortable, what directions was it not comfortable. You know, I was trying to feel impingement and how much restriction was there, how much swelling was there, like how much damage had I done, what had happened, had it torn. It didn't feel like a tear anywhere. I did like grapevine very slowly in both directions. And then I went back into the yoga room and I just put my legs up the wall. And Tracy applied some essential oils, frankincense, Panaway, which has wintergreen in it. And it still, for me, is this experience of, wow, 39 years, and I had this crazy injury when I was in one of the most serene environments that I've ever been in. What I've gleaned from it is that the restriction actually wasn't in my knee, but it was in my hip, in the attachments of my adductors, my hip flexors. I think my sartorius was involved, right? The muscle that runs from the inside of the knee to the outside of the hip. So there has been contraction in my hip flexor. And people, it doesn't have to be 4 inches. You don't have to be like the Hunchback of Notre Dame to have a constriction or a contraction or something overactive or underactive. Okay. You can look quote unquote normal. You can look healthy and have these imbalances in the body. So there was a somewhat subtle contraction in my hip that I realized was linked to a trauma from 20 years ago.
Amazing.
So like the injury in the knee made me far more aware of what was going on in my hip crease, because there's all of those, because it's all attached. And so it heightened my body awareness. And so I've now been able to like, oh, okay, we have some stuff to release in the hip flexor. And then my knee has been a champ and is healing itself, and is doing really well. I mean, I'm tracking it very carefully. And so it's like one of those things where it was to get to the next level, right? And I'm not saying that was necessary. I'm not saying that no pain, no gain. I'm simply saying that for every injury, for every pain, there's a deeper lesson. There's something to be gleaned. There's insight the body is offering up on a platter or a pie in the face, whatever it is. However the body needs to teach you, it's going to teach you. So I'm really grateful. Yeah, my knee doesn't feel fantastic
Yet.
but OJ is like, I'm going to see you every week until your knee feels 110%. So great. So we'll do that. So there's a constant process of opening and deepening, and that is available to all of us all the days of our life.
Yeah. Injuries are a blessing.
They are.
If you let them be.
We have to find out what the meaning is, right? What's underlying? What is being shown to you?
Yeah. Just like the obstacles are the way, the injuries are a way for you to deepen your experience with yourself. Where you can start looking in deeper as to your connection with yourself and how you feel and what's going on in your life and what's no longer serving you, and getting past that and getting rid of that.
Yeah. What needs to be opened up?
Yeah.
Right? Pie.
Other grounding tips, breathing's great. If you've never gone to a breathing class and done breathing for an hour, breath work is huge. Again, it puts you back into your body. And there's different kinds of breath works. There's different kinds of meditations where you can travel and go places. But overall, I feel like paying attention to your breath puts you into your body, right? When you're in a meditative state and you're paying attention to the breath going in and out of your body, it's harder and harder to concentrate on the chatter that's going on in the head because you're paying attention to the breath. I'm re-listening to an audiobook, Why Buddhism is True. And he talked about going to a Vipassana retreat and how in the beginning of the retreat, he couldn't go with more than 3 breaths without his mind wandering somewhere else. And because he was meditating the entire time, he eventually got to the point where he was able to pay attention to his breathing throughout the entire meditation. And then once he got more comfortable with that, then he could start doing other things intentionally with his thoughts instead of just letting the monkey mind control him. So breathing and breath work is great. There's tons of stuff on YouTube. There's tons of free stuff online.
We have stuff in our archives. Check out the episode with Anna Yazdi.
Yeah. Casey's going to be doing a guided breathing meditation that we're going to have uploaded soon.
Yes, OJ, I am. I Captain. He's been asking me for this for a while.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I do breath awareness. People ask me, what do I do in the hospitals? A lot of it is breath awareness. And in my private practice, so much, I mean, I almost always cue clients to their breath because it all rides on the breath.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got you, brother. I got you. I got you the first and second time too. He's telling me it's time to wrap up.
Don't tell them that.
We love you. Too late. We love you, listeners.
We could talk all day.
We love you 110%.
Parking meter has run out.
Oh crap! He's so right. Oh, it's long gone, brother. 20. Oh, it's almost 20 minutes expired. You're paying the ticket. That's not fair. So tune in. We've got some exciting guests upcoming, lined up for November, December.
Yeah.
And we're so excited. This month marks 1 year of us starting the podcast. We didn't air episodes until February of 2019, but he and I had our first phone
meeting.
call right next door at the cafe.
Yeah. We had a
our
call
first
and then we
meeting.
met in October of last year, right next door.
So, to all the things that you would like to grow, we say cheers.
Cheers. Here's to a year. Thank you so much, listeners. Thank you, everyone who supported us. Thank you, everyone who comments and gives us feedback, and especially those people that give us the feedback of, oh, this really helped me through this, or I love this because of this. Like, that's what keeps us going.
And the people who were like, I couldn't really hear you on this episode. That's fine too.
Thanks,
all
J5.
of it. We appreciate you. So we love you and we'll talk real soon.
Thanks. Bye.